All right, Napoli fans around the world, welcome to Napoli Talk. Guys. All right, let's let's go straight to the point here. Napoli good overall. I like the approach. I like the way that we came back from behind as well. Let's ignore the scoreline, the fact that it's 4-2. It's a bit harsh, but let's focus on the positives. We got the first goal, we came back, but we can't not talk and start this episode. We cannot talk about Meret, guys. We cannot start this episode talking about Meret. It cost us the game. First goal, way out of position. Those of you that follow me on Twitter/X will know that I criticized him heavily for that goal. Then he had a moment where he seemed to be making some nice saves, and then bam, bam, another mistake. Even worse than the first one, even worse than the one that he did against Real Madrid in the home game. And for all the Meret supporters, guys, I get it. No goalkeeper saves every shot. That's not the point. But Meret has just consistently not been performing to the level that you expect from a team that is a Serie A champion that wants to get into the last eight of the Champions League. He is not Magnan. He is not Courtois. He is not that kind of goalkeeper, and that's just not good enough for Napoli. Then again, right? There's only a handful of goalkeepers that are of that level, so it's almost impossible to assume that we should have a goalkeeper of that level. But I mean, he's not even performing to an average level this season. He's been performing way below that level. Roberto here. Ciao Roberto says this. Partita condizionata da una papera di Meret, comunque il Real al momento è più forte. To translate this, he's saying the game has been conditioned by a mistake of Meret. In any case, Real is way too strong for us. Yeah, I agree. And let's go take some of the other comments, guys. Anthony says Meret was having such a good game too. That's going to be crucial to his future here. Yeah, I think Meret has definitely sealed, signed, delivered his future here, guys. It can't go on. It can't go on. Um, Meret made a big save and no one hyped him. Disappointing. Yeah, I mean at this point, right? Uh, even the save that he made, you you exp it's hard to say, right? Because you shouldn't take anything for granted. But I mean, you expect a goalkeeper in a Champions League night when you're putting on a Napoli shirt, champions of Italy, you expect good saves, right? It's like you expect a, a striker to score. You expect Simeone to score. You expect, like, he's just doing his job. The saves that he made, they are saves that were somewhat, you know, saves that you should expect a goalkeeper to make. The mistakes that he made, however, you shouldn't be expecting those. And yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna start giving out. I don't know, man. I'm not gonna start giving out a pat on the back to people if they don't truly deserve it. All right, let's go. Let's go see some more comments. Anthony says, "I'm annoyed Kvara didn't find Osimhen with the easiest pass for a Ballon d'Or nominee." Yeah, Kvara today, man. That's another Guys, that's another issue today. Kvara, I mean, he wasn't having the best of games, and it seems like in the Champions League, Kvara is still trying to find his form. Maybe there's an element of feeling the pressure a little bit because we saw it this game, we saw it against Milan in last year's Champions League. Kvara just maybe feels these kind of games a bit too much compared to maybe the ones in the Serie A. He's young. I want to give him the benefit of the doubt that things will be better for him though. But yeah, definitely Kvara didn't play to his best Danger also says so. Selfishness is killing this team. Players are not collaborating to score goals. I don't know, man. I mean, I feel like they are. I don't see anyone doing crazy solo things. If they do try to dribble a bit too much at times, I honestly just think it's because they feel that if they get past this one player, then it sets them up really nicely for an assist or a shot. And um, honestly, I don't think it's that different compared to other teams. In fact, the goal that we scored, the first one, was a beautiful team effort, and I'll show you exactly why, because we're gonna run through the screenshots of the game. Let's see. Some more comments. Free Mind says it's the same story of the first game. Fought hard for most of the game, but then fell apart the last 15 minutes. And this, I agree. I think it's a bit of a mentality issue as well, where we show great spirit to start the game. We also show great spirit to get ourselves back into the game when falling from behind. But then it's when we get that second punch, right? When we fall back behind again, that's when we then just collapse, right? It's almost as if going from 2-1 to 2-2, it's as if we've climbed Mount Everest, and then, if you go back down, you don't have the energy and the willpower anymore to go do that a second time, because you've just put all your energy into that first climb. And that's a bit the struggle with this team right now, is that they've got one climb in them, and at times it seems definitely like they've only got a limited amount of energy, whether that be 45 minutes. I think in this game it was a bit closer to 60, so I do think that we're finding some extra form. But I guess also the way that we concede the goals, when you concede a goal, when it's your own mistake, when it's your own player's mistake, such as the one that we conceded with Meret, I think that kills your motivation even more, because you think of how avoidable that is. That's what I think. For me, I know that that's how I would probably react. I would be much more disappointed and feel hard done by if it was my own team's mistake than if the other team plays better. Let's see. LK says, let's just be honest. Tio gave some classy schooling today. Real, I guess, gave some classy schooling to Napoli today. Live and learn. Yeah, let's not forget that this is probably the best team on the earth right now, and it's expected almost to lose against them. Paolo says, I can't with Meret no more. I can't. It's been too many chances now. Golini is so clear. I just hope he puts Meret in today because it was a meaningless game. Maybe. Hey, maybe. Maybe it was, hey, I like that. I like that theory. I like it. It's like, hey, guys, if there's one game in my time here at Napoli that I can lose, it's against Real Madrid. So let me make some experiments in this game to see to to clear all my doubts. And if one of my doubts is whether I should play Meret or whether I should play Golini, then I guess at that point the decision is made after a game like this. The consequences are minimal because we're already, let's say, guaranteed 90% to be second unless we lose to Braga at home. But I mean, way better to get this out of the way now than against Inter or Juventus. I want to give my man Mike a big shout out and thank you for always supporting the channel. Mike, I appreciate you, man. Says Forza Napoli sempre, wasn't able to watch, thankfully, I guess. Don't worry, I got you covered. I have 26 screenshots to go over with you guys, so stick around. Guys, I need to see some more likes up in here, all right? We've got more than half of you that have not smashed that like button, and you are about to receive some nice little analysis. So make sure that you give me some love for this and smash that like button. It really helps. Let's see some more comments from new people. Jonas had a great game, but being notoriously inconsistent in the end screwed it up for us. Overall, a team improvement though. Let's see. Let's see. Georgie says Kvara couldn't do his things because he was alone on the left and two players was at his face the whole time. I think that's starting to be a thing very, very often. Definitely since the Milan game last year, teams have been doubling up on Kvara. I think at that point, when we see that this happens, this is where other teammates need to come rescue him, making runs, and we'll see that with the first goal. We'll go over it. So why don't we actually start going over key moments in this game, and then from there we can get to that moment of Kvara's goal. All right, so let's maybe move that down a little bit because I'm a bit ACD with OCD with how it aligns. All right, so this comment drop right in the middle there because I agree with it and I like it. Um, so let's start off with how the two teams were lining up against each other. So let's start with Napoli on the ball. Napoli, it was very clear that we wanted to keep our team as wide as possible, and we wanted to keep Juan Jesus and Di Lorenzo wide. We wanted also to not let Real rush us in the middle. And unlike when we played with Garcia, we wanted to make Lobotka the focal point of our game. In fact, there was a lot of risky passes that went through the middle towards Lobotka, which at times got intercepted. Other times it put Lobotka under a lot of pressure, which we'll see maybe later on in the second goal that Real scored. But anyways, Lobotka becomes again the center of this team, and Real Madrid knows that, and they know that, and so they kind of put a little bit of a cage on Lobotka. They don't commit to Rachmani. They don't press the defenders. They'd rather just cover Lobotka. So, what does Napoli do to counter this situation? Well, you drop someone like Anguissa down there, and then that opens up the angle to pass it to Lobotka. At that point, when that movement starts happening with Anguissa dropping back, losing his man, passing it first time to Lobotka. Now Lobotka can see what's ahead of him because if Anguissa turns around, he's going to waste time and he's going to get pressed. Instead, he gives it first time to Lobotka. Lobotka has already scanned the whole situation. And this is where then someone like Simeone has to drop in a little bit as well. And he gives the first time to Politano, who starts cutting inside. And that's exactly what happened. At this point, I didn't put it down because then it's too many arrows. But at this point, once Simeone receives the ball and he's laying it off to Politano, that's where Zielinski then should start making his run um, towards the goal, or maybe someone like Kvara. But this type of movement to let's say, find spaces and move the ball forwards requires the whole team to just know what they're doing, to know when to make the runs, and to play quick one-time passing football. And it's really difficult to do consistently, and so we didn't see that too often. But I like how at the start of the game they tried to implement this, and at times, guys, you can really tell how teams want to play by just taking a look at the first 5 minutes because that's when the minds and legs are freshest, and that's when the opposition hasn't had a chance yet to react to whatever game plan you put out there. And so it's really interesting always to analyze the first few minutes of the game. I love doing that. Anyways, let's move on to defensively how Napoli set up, and I want to go over this because when we change managers, obviously things change around a little bit. So these things may not seem so important for this game, and they might not be. But it's just good context to know how Napoli likes to defend and attack under a new manager. So when Napoli are in defense, so we say that we are a 4-3-3, but in reality, that's just on paper. In the end, when we are defending and Real Madrid have the ball in a bit of a higher position up the field, Napoli goes to a classic 4-4-2. because we don't have two strikers, one of the central midfielders, in this case Anguissa, pushes up. When in if Real Madrid get a bit closer to our goal and we have to drop back a few meters, then we go into a 4-1-4-1 position where Anguissa drops back, Simeone stays forward, and then Anguissa takes the place of Lobotka, and Lobotka sits deeper into that position between the midfield and the defense. And that's to ideally stop Jude Bellingham, Rodrigo, and all these guys making runs inside and in between the two lines. We'll see how this maybe didn't work too well for us, but the idea is tight lines, very compressed. Let Real Madrid use the wide areas, but just sit tight. Don't let anything through the middle, because we know that Real Madrid's strengths are not from crossing the ball from out wide, but they are when they attack you down the middle, like Jude Bellingham did in the first leg. All right, now let's take a look at the first goal of of Simeone. But what I want you guys to note is Politano's run that allows Kvara space. So this is something that Georgie, I think in the comments, was saying earlier about how Kvara is always two people on him. Well, a solution is exactly this one that we used for the first goal. Why don't we get Politano every once in a while to, from the right hand side, make a run towards Kvara. This means that Carvajal cannot commit to Kvara because he's watching the run of Politano. And if Politano receives a pass, he's actually on his favorite left foot down the bar line, and he can actually put in a very nice cross, and Carvajal knows this. So Carvajal has to watch out for the run being made by Politano, so he leaves Kvara enough space to cross the ball. Kvara crosses it, and then another thing that I want you to note is, because Politano has made that run down the left hand side from the right, it also opens up space for Di Lorenzo to attack on the right hand side, and he takes up that space. Another thing is that this is a very attacking Napoli side. It's 0-0. We're putting 4, 5 people into the box, as well as Kvara crossing the ball. So more than half the team is attacking the box, and to do this in a Champions League night away from home, guys, is incredible. Di Lorenzo cuts the ball back in, and Simeone actually makes a very good. He reads the game very well, makes a very good run to get him behind the Madrid defenders, and then does just enough to score a goal. Woo! All right, all right, guys. So that's 1-0 to Napoli. Now, if you are watching this and you have not yet smashed that like button, I can only assume that you hate me personally, because come on, guys, you have to smash the like button for that analysis. You have to. You have to. You don't get this on Sky, even if you beg for it, all right? Not like this 2 minutes after the game. So please, guys, smash that like button for me, because I need it after a loss. Let me go to some of your comments that I definitely missed while I was rambling about players' position and all that kind of stuff. All right. Let me go to Adam Miller, an OG fan of the show. He says, interested their players, fun game today, but it wasn't worth our starters' energy. Yeah. So Inter rested a lot of their players, which is very interesting. They, however, went from 3-0 down to 3-3. So for them, it's kind of ideal because they rested some of their players, and they have this great boost of, I guess, motivation, having just come back from 3-0 down in a game. So that's going to be tough against them. Um, I thought Elmas brought great energy sub. Yeah, Elmas has been good. To be honest though, like when Elmas came on. I almost feel like he had a lot of energy, but everybody around him was kind of a bit deflated at that point because it was already 3-2, and so he maybe didn't get a chance to um, fully showcase that energy. Let's see. Let's see. What else can we say? What else can we say that hasn't already been said? Yeah. A lot of talk about whether Kvara was good versus he wasn't. Careless says he wasn't so good. Valerie says, well, he gave us the first goal, as we saw. Yeah, I mean, I think overall, though, wasn't one of his best games because Rudiger had him pocketed a lot. CM says we're already in the round of 16 unless we lose 4-0 to Braga, which I heavily doubt. So, actually, let's go take a look at the. This brings a good point because I want to talk about it. All right, let's take a look a little bit at the table. Where is it? Here. Goal difference. Napoli -1, Braga -4. That means that if Braga win 2-0, then they pass us. Why is that? Because if they score 2 goals, they go to -2. And if we concede 2 goals, we go to -3. So it's absolutely not the case that it requires a 4-0. It only requires a 2-0 from Braga. So be very, very careful with that one. All right, don't take CM's word. Man, yellow card to CM. CM 1926 has Napoli played bad, but the attacking phase sometimes has been too slow. Unfortunately, the physical condition of the players is what it is, but I still think we could have done better on that regard. Yeah, I completely agree. I think this is a game that you can just classify as being not bad, and if we were at a more peak physical condition, we could have done better. But let's take a look at what else happened in this game. And by the way, guys, I'm so happy that a lot of you have been click button as you've been enjoying this stream. For those of you that haven't, do consider doing it. Anyways, let's continue with the analysis, guys. So let's take a look at Real Madrid's goal. All right, so Real Madrid, right off the bat, equalize against us. This is a problem of Napoli's midfield that we've seen time and time and time again. Guys, if you want to score a goal against Napoli, the easiest way to do it is to just pick a fight with a Napoli midfielder because 8 times out of 10, we are losing. We just have this issue of teams running through us. As much as I love Anguissa, as much as I love Lobotka, they are not the type of players that are tough. And sometimes you need a bit of toughness. Here, Lobotka loses the ball. Anguissa, not good enough. And maybe at this point, a foul, giving away a foul here would have been maybe the smartest thing to do. And this is like, this is what I mean by experience because look, you just scored a goal. The worst possible scenario right now in the game is to concede right off the bat. That's the worst possible scenario. What ideally you want to be doing after you score a goal is for the next 5 minutes to just keep as much of the ball as possible and don't concede anything to the opposition. And I feel like at this point, Anguissa should know that if Ceballos gets past him, then we open up the possibility of a counterattack because you've got Lobotka right in front of him on the ground. Napoli has committed people forward on the restart of the game. This is a very dangerous situation, and Anguissa should know that if he gets past, it's just those Real Madrid monsters against our defense. Here, I'm sorry, man, but you've got to be smarter and you've got to take one for the team, just like they should have taken one for the team when we played against Milan last year, and they never did that. All right, moving on. Let's see what Mana says. He says, in 4 meetings with Real Madrid, they have 36 on us. That's more than 3 goals conceded per game. We're just not on that level and never will be. Yeah, it definitely feels like they've always got 2 goals on us per game. I would say a lot of the time we put in a lot of we give them a lot of problems, guys. I mean, we score goals against them, but we also just do a lot of self harm when we play against them. Stream Elements, the bot, is reminding you to smash that like button. Valerie says, we need to talk about the poor performances. Juan Jesus and Rahmani really becoming a big problem. Look, to be honest, I'm not even gonna I'm not even gonna criticize them too badly for this game. Even though we conceded 4 goals, they are up against Jude Bellingham, Rodrigo, all these monsters up in attack that I honestly don't even feel like criticizing them too much. I I can excuse I can excuse them for this game. For me, it's not they didn't really do anything that bad that cost us the game, in my opinion. Um, Paul Vives, it's not decided the result of the Napoli and Bragg games and not the global goal difference. Thanks, Dom. I believe it might be from the. Wait, maybe they changed this in recent years. Let me go on Wikipedia. How are Champions League group group decided if on level points? Let me just Wikipedia this because let's see. Let's see what the internet says. Head to head. Head to head. Okay, so they changed it compared to a few years ago. All right. Anyway, let's move on. Let's move on with the analysis. So Real Madrid win the ball, and then we get to the second mistake, which is this one, which is why is Meret leaving an entire highway worth of space next to him? I mean, that positioning is horrendous. It's horrendous. It's horrendously bad, guys. It's really, really bad. And I don't want to say that if he was a little bit more to the side, then he would have saved the shot. No, like this was a goal, anyways. Even if he was 1 meter in the correct direction, it would have been a goal because it was a very good strike by Rodrigo. What I will say is that he's not giving himself any sort of chance to potentially save that. And even if the shot was a bit more central, because of his positioning, he would have still not been able to save it. And that's what's worrying. It's not so much about the goal in itself, the strike in itself, it's more about why is he positioned there? Because he's making it very, very hard for himself. And we need to talk about this. But I love the idea that was mentioned earlier that maybe this was the one chance to really see if it could be a thing, Meret coming back as a starter or not, and Mazzarri maybe testing this out in a game that doesn't matter so much for us anymore. Instead of doing his theory, trying out his theory versus Inter or Juve, and yeah, I think Mazzarri now has his answer, and for the games that really matter against Inter and Juve, I expect to see Gollini. Right. Let's get to now Madrid's second goal. This was a very, I would say, super unexpected goal. It's hard to blame the team here, to be honest, because I've never seen goals like these very often. I mean, maybe maybe from Real Madrid themselves, but I'm talking what 2 seasons ago when Modric did that outside of the foot cross from kind of that position. But it's very rare that a team with one of their center backs uh, tries something like this. But that's the quality that Real Madrid have. What I will say though is that when the ball gets played out to Alaba, Anguissa which here he's playing that second striker when we defend the ball that we talked about earlier. Um, he doesn't go and press Alaba nearly enough. I feel like Anguissa has to be way more aggressive here and not allow Alaba the time and space. I I can't really fault Nathan or Juan Jesus too much on this goal just because look, Juan Jesus he's got two guys that he's trying to cover. Nathan, if he goes any wider and towards Juan Jesus, then Bellingham's just gonna make that same run, but in between the two center backs, which would be maybe even easier for him to score if a ball goes through there. So Nathan is in a pretty decent position. It's just the quality of this pass is insane, guys. There's literally nothing any defender I think could do at this stage. This is just a beautiful, beautiful goal in my opinion. Adam says, Dom, it's how you do these and the game ended. Thank you, bro. Thank you. I I I appreciate that because yeah, it's nice. It's nice. It's nice that someone notices. Um I am a little bit late though. I did say I would start at 11:15 p.m. my time. I did start like 5 minutes late, so I'm sorry for that, guys. Anyways, let's go to then Napoli's goal, and this is something that I love. I love about this goal that I mentioned. I think I was on Rabona TV 2 weeks ago, and I mentioned the fact that under Garcia, I don't know if you guys. I'm sure you guys saw the video, but I think you guys remember that I said under Garcia, Anguissa was limited to just trying to um, stay in the midfield area and maybe recover some balls, do some very simple passes, and that's about it. Whereas under Spalletti, if you could see the space, then no matter what position you are, no matter who you are, you go and you attack that space. And that's exactly what Anguissa did here. He saw the space in behind the Madrid defenders and he went, did a 1-2 Di Lorenzo and attacked the space. So I'm sure some of you guys remember me saying that in that video, but if not, I'll make a little short out of it. But this is pure Spalletti football. He goes into that space, first cross, not so good, bounces back towards him. But it was a good idea to try to cross the ball. I mean, you've got Zielinski, Osimhen, and Kvara in there. And then afterwards, it goes back to Anguissa, and he just smashes that into the back of the net. So, yeah. Laurent you saying prediction for Winter. Well, thank you actually for reminding me that, guys, we have a Napoli predictor game that I run. I don't know if you guys are aware, everybody that's here from maybe the past few weeks, but I do have a Napoli predictor game where you can put your own predictions. And why don't I just pitch that right now? So I'm gonna live now. Just um, I'm gonna now. Let's see. How do I do this? I'm gonna put a link here. This is where you can play. All right. This is this is the Napoli predictor game thing. I've put it in the chat. Go play. There's a prize to be won every month. If you are the best predictor of the month, you get to make a video with me. If you are the best predictor of the season, there's a big prize that you can win. This channel doesn't have any sponsors or whatnot for whatever reason. So everything is kind of just auto funded by the community. So if you do want to play and have a chance to win the prize, make sure that you also pay a bit of a fee to participate. Everything is in the instructions. Anyways, um, let's get some more comments. Let's see. Let's see. Some Golini should be in goal from now on, says Hafiz Yusuf. Yeah, I agree. And let's get that goal, guys. But before that, let's talk about this moment here, right? Because I feel like we did have a chance. I feel like we did have the chance to even win this game because we were in this great position here where Anguissa has the ball and he's running with the ball since the halfway line and he just makes the wrong decision here. He passes it to Kvara, and I'm not saying that passing to Kvara in general is the wrong decision. Don't get me wrong here, but it's very clear to me that the best decision here would have been to go towards Osimhen because you've got Mendy that's running in the direction of Kvara. He's always going to be closing Kvara. You've also got the other guy close to Anguissa who is closer to Kvara himself, so he's gonna double down on he's gonna help double down on Kvara. Whereas if you pass to Osimhen, he's more clear on goal. So this is just one of those chances that you think, if only Anguissa made the right call here. But anyways, he goes to Kvara, and this is what we're talking about with Kvara maybe not having his best game for Napoli. He does this. He tries this pass and it gets intercepted. I'm not sure if by this defender or the next one. I can't remember. Maybe the next one as well. But it was just a little bit behind Osimhen, a little bit weak. If if he had done a little scooped pass, maybe a little bit off the ground, and where Osimhen can just kind of head the ball in. Um, Maybe that could have been better, but instead he goes on the ground and it just loses a bit of pace. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like here is where we should have really done a bit better. First with Anguissa and then with Kvara as well. Danny is saying, give him 69 likes, no more, no less. Yes, guys, come on, we need two more. 67 viewers and 67 likes. I need two more viewers, guys. If you have a mother, a father, a grandma, a baby child that hasn't got a YouTube account, sign this person up and get them to smash the like button on this video, all right? Because we got to get to those many likes. Okay, moving on. Angsa is annoying at times. Yeah, but he did score the goal, so yeah, it comes and goes. Laurentio is saying this may be a bit off topic. It's fine, but were the ultras allowed the equipment in the stadium? Well, this is away from home, so I don't know. I don't know how it is when you go away at the Bernabeu. No idea. So deep down, I know it's Juan Jesus' fault, even without watching the match. That killed me, man. That. Anyways, let's go. Let's go a little bit forward to just another way that Napoli could have really hurt Real Madrid, and that's again with Politano. And I feel like Politano is so underappreciated. Some of the work that he does, but his positioning could have really hurt Real Madrid, and we saw it in the first goal for Napoli that his run to liberate Kvara's cross was really useful. Here, when he gets to this more central area of the field, it really screws up Real Madrid's tactical cages because all of a sudden he becomes an extra passing option for Lobotka, an option that really wasn't there if he had stayed way onto the touchline. But he's helping Napoli to crowd the midfield. It gives Lobotka an extra place to pass the ball, and when he receives the ball there, then he can find the pass towards Osimhen. And we don't see it in this exact occasion, but we see it literally a few minutes later where he's again receiving the ball in that kind of more central area. He wiggles past first some defenders and then he can release a ball towards Osimhen. Osimhen ends up scoring actually, but he's just a little bit offside. Well, not a little bit. He's like 3 meters offside. But still, the idea is if you can get Politano on the right hand side or Kvara on the left hand side a bit more central, not both of them together, but just one of them. If you can get one of them a bit more central, then you've got just a more direct way to feed Osimhen. By the way, when this is happening, the other guy, such as Kvara in this case, he has to stay all the way to the other side. And that's because you want that Real Madrid defense to stay as wide as possible to find these gaps. If Kvara starts coming in at this point, then that Real Madrid defense can close in and then you don't find these gaps anymore. Guys, make sure that you are smashing the like button, guys. Let's see, 25 likes. There we go. There we go. Thank you. Thank you, guys. We'll bring that back to 69. I know. I know. Sad times. Sad times. Don't unsmash that like button, though. Don't listen to Danny. When the rest of the team is standing still, Politano is the guy who is bringing something to us. I would say yeah. I mean, other guys have been doing it at times. Definitely Kvara has done it a few games, maybe not so much today. But I just do love the fact that Politano this year has been improving a lot. Anthony says, does Napoli have a goalkeeper problem? But what's this problem? Meret did very well with two decisive saves. The 3-2 goal can be discussed. Maybe it was covered and didn't see the trajectory very well. I don't know. I mean, the first goal was a huge issue. The third goal, which we'll see soon, is a huge issue. And the two saves, the header was kind of right on him, and the one with the legs, yeah, it was good, for sure. But this save here was very good, for sure. At the same time, like we can't just allow this guy to keep being our goalkeeper because he's making saves that are expected at this level. I mean, these are the same this is the same save that the Empoli goalkeeper did on Kvara in the 94th minute to save his team from losing a game just a few weeks ago. Go watch those highlights again. The Empoli goalkeeper made the save. So these saves are not something that, oh yeah, Meret made this save. Let's never remove him from the starting lineup. No. This is the equivalent of a striker like scoring, I wouldn't say a tap in, but I would say scoring like a chance that you would expect a decent striker to score. All right? And Meret is a decent goalkeeper. We should expect him to make these saves. The problem is that if you make these saves, but then you make two bad mistakes in the game and you're not making consistently great saves, because of great saves, I don't remember many from Meret, then you do have a goalkeeper problem. Um, no, that's not what Mazzarri said. And by the way, thank you for the $2 donation, Anthony. What is it Mazzarri said? We will get to the Mazzarri press conference. We will get there to the Mazzarri press conference, but not yet. Not yet. We are still in the middle of our analysis. We got 5 more slides, guys. Bear with me. 5 more slides. We've got the goal that we're talking about, the Meret mistake. I mean, look at the distance here, man, from Paz, that he's taking the shot. I mean, Meret has the whole time to see it. It bounces in front of him, but I mean, come on, look at this. I mean, his hands. I mean, that gap between his hands, like you could fit, you could fit more than a football in there. You could fit three. Okay, no, you can't. You can't fit three, but you get what I mean, right? I mean, why is he like that in the first place? Why are his hands not like, for me, I'm not a goalkeeper, right? I don't have the height to be a goalkeeper, but it just, so I don't, I've never received formal training on this, but it just doesn't seem right that your hands are so far apart. Where's the camera? Hands are so far apart to each other. It's like, just no. Why? Um, no. This is not okay. Mike X Stat, thank you, man, my bro, again for the $5 donation. Says at least Man United is Premier League fans most annoying. Prem League's fans most annoying in the USA. Ranking my most disliked clubs: Arsenal, Juve, Man United in that order. Dom, what is yours? A little bit off topic, Mike, but I will entertain you. My most disliked are Juve, then Man United, because I uh, when I was living in the UK and when I was growing up, and Napoli was in Serie C, and so I couldn't watch their games on television because I was living in Asia at the time. I had to follow another team on TV, and I decided that it would be Liverpool. So my second team, let's say, is Liverpool. Um, and so for that reason, I really don't like Man United. But yeah, I would say Juve, Man United in terms of my most disliked clubs. Probably Verona and Atalanta are next. I would say maybe Verona. Verona third, yeah. Anyways. I think Navarro said that thing about Meret that you roasted me for. What did he say? I'll get to that later. Anyways. Now let's go to. All right. Let's Okay, let's go back. Meret mistake. All right, that's clear. Very obvious. We get it. But why? Why was this allowed? Let's let's always think back to the root cause. Now, you guys know I'm an engineer by trade. Things don't just happen out of nowhere. There's always a root cause. All right, you always got to find the square root of something. All right, so let's think about why this guy in the 83rd minute is allowed to take a shot away from there, and it goes down, guys, to Napoli sitting deep way too deep in the second half and towards the end of the second half. And this is what we were saying earlier about the fact that we lost a bit of rhythm, and we definitely lowered our we don't have the energy levels anymore to do 90 minutes. We only last about 60 nowadays. So the team backtracked, and if you guys remember, we were playing with a 4-1-4-1 in the first half, or at times even a 4-4-2 defensively. In this case, Anguissa dropped back way too much, and he's almost on the line of the defenders. What does that mean? That means that there's space for that shot to happen. Now, it's a shame that he's even allowed to beat his man and take a shot, but in theory, if you're still playing that 4-1-4-1 system and Anguissa's a bit closer, you maybe have a chance to intercept. Instead, Napoli just go a bit too deep, and that's just something both mentally and physically that we need to address. I love I love this comment here. Where was it? Georgie says Meret is Napoli's without a good passing. Man, Onana's worse. Honestly, Onana cost Man United so much more this season. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Um, let's see. Are we gonna sign in January? Probably not. If we don't sign one, I don't think we're gonna. If we didn't sign one on the free, then I don't think we're gonna sign one in January because Mairuru is gonna probably be back by then, and maybe also Oliveira by January. All right. Let's go now to the final goal. And again, this one, I mean, by this point, the game was over. Bellingham, though, he's a monster. Gets him behind the Napoli defense and then, does what he does best, crosses it to Joselu, who scores. And he has to, I mean, this guy literally has to apologize to the Bernabeu crowd for not having scored earlier on Meret, which is incredible. I mean, that shows you the level, right? When a Real Madrid a Real Madrid player needs to apologize for not having scored earlier against this goalkeeper. It's clear that our defending is bad starting by midfielders. Yeah, I mean, it's I wouldn't say that it's bad starting from our midfielders because at times they play well, but it's very clear that the defensive mistakes that we make, how can I phrase this? They're not always bad, but it's very clear that Napoli's defense starts from the midfield. And that one if that one ever fails, then the whole thing crumbles, right? Um I mean, I guess you could say they're bad. I guess you could say they're bad. I wouldn't say that Anguissa and Lobotka are great at defending. Everybody just assumes, by the way, that Anguissa is like this great defensive midfielder, and I couldn't disagree more. I feel like his best attributes are not defending. I feel Anguissa's best attributes are getting into space, and we saw that with the goal that he scored. Anyways, ratings and press conference by Mazzarri, guys. Keep smashing that like button, by the way. All right, these are my ratings, guys. These are my ratings. Now, I'm not gonna give anyone a bad grade except Meret. And this is, you might be thinking, but Dom, we lost 4-2. We conceded 4 goals. Why are not more people getting a red rating? And it's just because, guys, this is the best team in the world, Real Madrid, away from home. It's our first week with a new manager. Up until the 83rd minute, it was 2-2. We only conceded 3-2 because of a mistake by the goalkeeper. So, in general, this team played decent. Not incredible, but decent. And for me, decent is 6 out of 10, 6.5 out of 10. It means it's a game that you're not are gonna be in contention for a man of the match, but you can't say, "Oh, he sucks," right? Um, for example, even the guys that we've been criticizing a little bit before, I don't think we can blame them excessively when you have guys like Tony Kroos, Jude Bellingham, and all these guys against you. Meret though should do better. Um, let's see. Um, Manager say Kvara 5. No. Let me put a poll, all right? Let me put a poll on Kvara because I wasn't very sure myself. Kvara rating. I'll say agree or disagree. That's it. Just the two. If you disagree because you think it should be higher or lower, it still just counts as a disagree. I just want to see how many agree that it should be 6 out of 10, or how many would say it should be higher or lower. I'd be curious to know. Um, Anguissa 6.5. I feel like he made a few bad decisions. Maybe was a bit lazy at times, but he did give us a goal. So that's why he gets rewarded a little bit there. Di Lorenzo, I thought was fantastic. I think it was super difficult for him with that defense, guys. I mean, guys, Di Lorenzo is playing with. I'm not gonna call them amateurs, but he's playing with very mediocre players, and he's making them, perform. I wouldn't say good, but he's making them not embarrass themselves. Yes, we conceded 4 goals, but I mean, we know how we conceded them because of Meret. So Di Lorenzo 7, and he's the one that I think had the hardest job today because he was supporting us going forward and backwards, and it was just incredibly difficult, I think, to play in Di Lorenzo's position today. Everybody else, guys, I mean, nothing spectacular, like 6, 6.5. No one can go home and say I played so much better than the others. Kvara is saying, Valerie is saying Kvara 6.5. Valerie's saying if Kvara 5, Aussie 2. Come on, guys. Aussie didn't have a chance today. Aussie, Aussie looked lively, but if Anguissa doesn't pass him the ball, and if Politano is maybe a bit too slow to pass him the ball at a later stage, then what can Osimhen do, guys? He wasn't getting fed. He wasn't getting fed, guys. Um, but yeah, look, I mean, one guy says Kvara 5, one guy says 6.5. Overall, though, the majority of you seem to agree from this poll. Kvara 5.75. I guess that's the I guess that's the average. That's the that's the mean. That's the mean, guys. Let's go to the press. By the way, before that, Mazzarri 7. I mean, this guy Mazzarri goes to the Camp Nou and gets Napoli to score the goal first. Then we are losing, not because of something that is his mistake, but because of player mistakes. We're losing 2-1, goes into the dressing room at halftime and gives the players the right motivation to come back out, score a second goal immediately, get the game back to 2-2, keeps it there for 83 minutes until finally his goalkeeper messes things up. But I mean, what a Chad Mazzarri. I mean, he had us looking good. He had us looking good. Anyways, it is what it is. It is what it is. Payman, he says, I am late, but I always love hearing Payman, great supporter of the channel, says, I'm late. I disagree with Nathan and Rahmani 6 and Juan Jesus 6.5. Agree Meret needs to go, but Juan Jesus, Nathan and Rahmani are just bad. At least Nathan is young. Yeah, I mean, these grades are not grades for their quality or their um, career or their general level. It's just how they played in this game. And to be honest with you, the first goal was the midfielders losing the ball. The second goal was a Meret mistake. Sorry, the first goal was the midfielders losing the ball and a Meret mistake. The second goal was an incredible cross by Alaba, which I think would have put a lot of defenders in a really bad situation. We've seen Koulibaly suffer from that a lot in the past as well, from these deep crosses. Then you've got the third goal, Meret mistake, and the fourth goal, Napoli had committed men forward to try to get the 3-3, and we were exposed at the back. I don't think any of the goals are really anything that those guys could have done. And I'm the first to be a Juan Jesus criticizer. I gave him a 4 just last weekend, but I'm not just gonna automatically give him a 4 regardless of how he plays. I feel like overall he's a very bad defender, but I mean today, from his side at least, things were okay. Um, I miss Kim. Yeah, yeah. Kvara is why we scored our first goal. He wasn't selfish. Passed the ball to Osi, although he could have scored himself. He can do better, of course. I gave him a 6. Yeah, yeah. Not bad, not good. Seeing Osimhen leaving to Bravo ADL. Let's see. Let's see. Anyways, um let's see what it's insane how much impact Kim had. Yeah, it's insane. Let's see what Mazzarri had to say, guys. And by the way, guys, thank you for all of you that are um you know still with me right now. It's been over an hour, guys, and you know almost an hour. You guys are still here. And by the way, if you haven't yet recorded your predictions for the Napoli Inter game, I'm just gonna re-put that in the chat. Anyways, let's go. Let's go to Mazzarri's press conference. All right, let's go there. Mazzarri's press conference. Here we go. Here we go. All right. Let's see first what he had to say to Amazon Prime Video, since this game was streamed on Amazon Prime Video in Italy. He says, before we conceded the 3-2, we created two or three good chances to perhaps win the game and or at least go up in front. I am in general happy with the overall performance. We knew that Real Madrid is incredibly dangerous on the transition. When you are in the lead, it's normal that um, when you are not in the lead, so when you're losing, it's normal that you try to tie the game, and then that's why we conceded the fourth goal. But when it was 2-2, we should have been a lot more careful to not concede that third goal. We were really playing well, and I really thought that we could have won today's game. Um, they asked him about the hug between him and Anguissa after the goal, and they ask him a bit about that, and he says, look, I found a very exceptional group of people, united, that wants to train, that wants to be together. I think that here we can really do nice thing, also because at a human level, these players are very good. They ask him about the substitution, about Osimhen. He started on the bench, then he came on in the second half. They asked him, was this programmed or was this a result of how the game was going? And he says, yes, it was programmed. Against Atalanta, he got 20, 25 minutes. Today, we wanted to give him 45, 50 so that he's ready for the next few games. We couldn't risk more than that today. All right, now let's go to the actual presser. And he says, yes, against Real Madrid, whatever kind of mini mistake that you make, that gets taken advantage of. And we tried everything to bring it back to 3-3. And at that point, we committed a lot of people forward and got the 4-2. How is Zielinski? They ask him, and he says, "Look, I took off Zielinski because he was both tired and he got injured. You guys saw it, but his game was positive. In a few games, in a few days, we've got a very important match. Unfortunately, we have to be very careful with the players and their health because we have a few little niggles in our team right now." They ask him, "Does Napoli have a goalkeeper problem?" And Mazzarri said, and maybe this is what Anthony Navarro was talking about. And Mazzarri says, "What goalkeeper problem? Meret has been playing very well with two decisive saves. The 3-2, we can discuss it. Maybe his vision was covered and he didn't see the trajectory very well." God damn, Mazzarri. All right, but these are definitely these are definitely these are definitely things that you just have to say because you have to say that, right? You can't throw your player under the bus in front of everybody. The real truth will come out against Inter and Juventus. Will Mazzari trust Meret? Yes or no? Only time can tell. So yeah, that's been Mazzari's press conference, which is incredibly interesting. Didn't actually say too much. Didn't say things that are too different from what we thought he would say. Um, Vincenzo saying, "Can you stream the post match from Mazzari?" I mean, I can't stream it because I don't know when exactly he comes on. And also, I don't know how that is with like copyrights and all that. The last thing I want to do is get a strike on my channel for copyright. So I can't stream it. But I have just given you a transcript of what he said. Payman says, "Don't watch Anguissa. He threw a gig at Garcia, saying now we all give it all for each other." Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's clear. It's clear as day. Politano also said it last time. Anguissa now goes and hugs Mazzarri. It's just very clear. It's very clear. Mazzarri, well, not to criticize on his keeper in public. To be honest, it's all kind games to protect his team. Yeah. At the end of the day, guys, he's been brought in to stabilize the ship, protect the players, be a father figure to them, and that also means being a father figure to Meret. As much as he's screwed up, these are the things that you have to just deal with internally. So yeah, that's that, guys. That's that. I don't know, guys. I don't know. I don't know if you think that he's bluffing or if you think that it's the truth what he says about Meret, but definitely interesting. Definitely interesting. Vincenzo saying, "I asked the certain transcription." I know. Meret instills zero confidence in the team. Yeah, 100%, guys. 100%. And I think the players enjoy playing with Golini a bit more. I think it's I think it must be that way. It must be. I can't remember who said that actually. The agent of what player said that? I don't know if it was the agent, but someone this week was saying how the players enjoy playing with Golini more. So that tells you everything. Guys, that is everything. Make sure that you smash the like button for this review. Make sure that you play the game, guys. It's super fun. Just play the game. It's fun. And then also little update. I will be over the next 8 days, starting from Friday. I will be in the Middle East, in Dubai. So if any of you guys happen to live in Dubai, reach out because I don't know, maybe we can watch the Napoli Inter game together, the Juve Napoli game together. Let me know, guys, if you happen to be in Dubai. I'll be there. So, yeah, both games, guys. I won't be at home. I mean, I'm already kind of not at home because I'm in Milan for 3 months. So, this is not my usual studio setup. But so I'm already kind of not in my studio, but then I'll be like really not at home when I'm in Dubai. Um, so I don't know what kind of like background or whatever you'll see, whether it'll be from my hotel room or whether that will be from the top of the Burj Khalifa. I have no idea what the live will look like, but hopefully it's gonna be fun. But yeah, as I said, guys, if anyone's in Dubai, let me know. It'd be cool. Be cool to watch that together. Anyways, guys, that's everything. Hope you guys enjoyed the live and catch you next time. Ciao. And forza Napoli sempre.